I've got to start with the commissioner real quick. And I know Brown usually officially introduces this, but I kicked myself back at the Hoover Galleria because there was a time he was on, delayed a little bit by a phone call. We did a whole interview with him. The next day, Texas and Oklahoma was announced. Long phone call before you walked in here. Is there anything I will at least ask, is there anything you need to tell me that we're going to read about tomorrow?
Not from that phone call.
Okay.
Maybe others.
Was that a new granddad phone call?
No, that was one of our university presidents. We'd had not internally, but an external group of communication confusion. So I need to clarify something. And then he congratulated me on the grandfather status.
Do you have a name yet? Are you a Paw?
Greg.
Greg
worked for 58 years.
Wow.
So he found out. My wife asked me at breakfast, like the next morning after finding out, what's your grandfather name going to be? And I'm like, what? Like, I look in the mirror and there's still someplace in there, like a 28-year-old behind this gray receding hairline. And so I listened and I thought, and I said, well, Greg, it's worked for 58 years.
Yeah.
She didn't think it was funny. Everybody else just thought it was funny.
I like it.
And then she said, no, seriously, what is it? I said, well, commissioner. That'd be good.
Well,
so you teach the child syllables.
That's right. Hugh Freeze sat in that chair there and said he's coach.
He's going to be coach.
He just became a grandfather. He said he's going to be coach.
Well, the other side, I don't know what this means psychologically. My dad's parents, I always called them by their first name. So my grandparents on my father's side were Gene and Irene. My grandparents on my mother's side were Grandma and Grandpa Strong. So it's not unprecedented in my family to go by first name.
Wow, I've never heard.
Probably not going to get away with that one, but it's nice to talk about on radio where you have vodka.
Yeah.
So hey, and whatever that thing was.
That was before you were in the SEC, though. Southern, you got to get a Southern grandpa name. Come on.
What are the chances we can mix you a cocktail? It's fresh lime.
0.
Is it because you're working?
Among other things.
So
I don't want that video to last. I don't think you should be drinking at 3 in the afternoon, 2 in the afternoon. It's a personal issue, and I don't drink vodka. So what else you?
Oh, and you don't drink vodka? Okay, that's good.
I do use limes and like Perrier. If you got one of those laying around, that's very high.
We are fresh out of
a high tone show.
Although Scott did look in the cooler there.
I don't think we're on that brand though. I think
every time I show up to interview, there's like 2 more people. So this thing must be working.
Oh, we're killing it.
Yeah.
We're
this thing
must be working.
I complained you didn't have a table. Now I can't say it, but there's a circular table.
All right, here we go. Now look at this.
See, that's what's being influential.
That's right
there. Where's the lime, Smart?
We got lime fresh squeezed lime fresh.
Yeah. Okay.
Do I have to cover up the label?
No.
We can mix you that and lime if you want on ice.
He knows how heavy in advertising we are. He thinks we've got a mineral water sponsor. He's got to cover up the label of Perrier.
I've seen the studio with label. It's like a hockey dashing board. It's like a single A ballpark.
That's right. Minor league
wall.
baseball. Yeah.
I was impressed. I saw it set up. I'm like, how do they swipe one of these? So
late night.
I think I won the pool on how long it would take you to notice that.
You notice
I saw it before I even showed up. I'm like, are we licensing this deal? I get paid by media companies.
Hate to get
you're not going to repo it, are you? We've only got 2 hours left.
I'm out of juice right now. I'm on fumes.
Yeah. We bumped you from day one.
I missed the spinning helmet. Do we not have the spinning helmet?
What was that called? Helmet?
Hover
helmet.
Yeah.
That was an old sponsor for us too.
Yes, let's get serious.
Okay.
Well, before we get serious, so we were talking about SEC Media Days. It's kind of neat to run into people you hadn't seen in a while, and everybody's got their clique, and they go out to dinner with certain people and go out to bars with certain people. Do you have a group that you end up with almost every night, or you just shut it down?
No, I'm like, I showed up here Sunday night. My plane was late, hungry, and I'm like, I'm not staying out till 11 o'clock midnight every night because I go all day. So I'm 0 for 4, but I've been out till 11 o'clock or midnight with different groups. So had dinner with some of our CAA folks on Monday night, and then walked back from over here the only commissioner in Division I who's going to walk back at 11 o'clock at night through a construction zone to get to his hotel. Most people have people for that. It was me and Charlie Hussey at midnight. 1.5 miles. I took credit on my Whoop and my Apple Watch. Right? So.
Walking back in your $1,000 shoes, right?
Those are not. Those are not
those. I know, but
I don't have any $1,000 shoes. A couple hundred maybe.
Oh, I know where you shop.
Let me go back to the question you asked. And then Tuesday night, we were supposed to have a concert, and then we had weather. So we're at Tootsie's. Fascinating.
Also, the only college commissioner that's going to be at Tootsie's.
I was at Tootsie's,
Yes.
yeah. And the band, the Midland.
Yeah, Midland.
Played a little private concert. The Utica University now, which is where I began my career, the athletic director was in town just by happenstance and texted me. So he came up and met him, a guy named Steve Babiars. You guys big basketball fans? Potsdam State from the late 80s, 88 game winning streak, 3 national championships, one of the best basketball players I've ever seen. You're not impressed. He was there too.
No, I'm impressed.
And then last night was our ESPN talent dinner.
Oh. Is that like a roast where they get up there like they do the president? They're like, Greg Sankey, this fiscal environment we're in right now, it's all because of you. And then they tell some joke.
They should not be complaining about my contributions because I'm the lifeline. And then I may or may not have been out with a template, one of the early movers in this kind of space that you now occupy.
Dinner must have gone well. I didn't see Heather Dinich tweet anything out about it. So good dinner.
SEC Network, I should say.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Gotcha. Okay, so my serious question. Lane Kiffin takes podium and says college football is a disaster. Very hypocritical when you've got a kid on campus with an Aston Martin driving around for somebody to say that, isn't it?
Well, I don't use labels. I think there's a level of frustration that's being expressed. And I told the coaches in Destin a year ago, it's never going to be the way that it was. It's just not. It doesn't have to be the way that it is. We have work to do to achieve that. But I think what you're hearing is I mean, Lane was more candid with his frustration. I think there are inherent strengths in football. Like we're leading the nation in attendance for the 24th straight year. The ability to play at a high level, the ability to have new levels of support, but there are some oddities that don't seem consistent with the educational academic mission of helping young people grow.
Would you be in favor someday, and maybe it's a representative of the southern part of the country, of one person sort of being the equivalent for major college football like the NFL commissioner is?
Another way to ask that is if the Southeastern Conference is going to cede its decision-making authority fully to some other entity.
Yeah.
I think that's the first question. And I'll take you back to the summer of 20. Do you think we would have wanted to simply say to somebody far off, you decide whether we try to play football or not?
I know how that would have gone.
Oof.
Yeah.
So I think there are a set of complexities before you ever get to the answer of who, which is really what you're asking me.
Right. No, I was going to paint you into a corner. I mean, you obviously would be the choice from my voting district, but I mean, I wouldn't want to lose you from the SEC, but I want you to be the guy making the decision, mainly because of what you did in 2020.
Well, all these commissioners are rookies anyway, right?
Well, it's no, not quite there, but the room has changed.
Yeah.
I had the opportunity to visit with Jim Delaney last night, and I was explaining to him, he wraps up in early 2020. Kevin comes in, and then boom, you're hit with a pandemic, and nothing is normal. And since that time, we've cycled through everyone but me. So I'm the commissioner who now is longest in tenure, which is not something I expected. And that's just a very different reality, because I could anticipate. I sat in most of those meetings with Mike, and you knew who was going to have what perspective, what contribution, how they'd compromise. They'd come out hard, strong at the gate, and then back down. And now we're all trying to learn each other again. And then you have, 2 years ago, the news about our expansion. Well, that, causes a chilling effect. And then last year, the Big Ten. You now have the Pac-12 looking for its media opportunities. Meanwhile, the messaging out of the Big 12 around expansion. it's just a little bit different time. But you can go back to the early 2000s. Mike Tranghese works with us as a consultant in the ACC when it first grabbed Big East members. I thought Mike one time, he's shooting daggers.
Well, he did it on
at the
record
AC
too. He was
commissioner. Oh,
buying
yeah,
a mic. Yeah.
and then it happened again after he retired, and so there have been stress points before. There'll be stress points again. I think we've collaborated fairly well. We were able to. I think we're issuing a statement today in support of a continuing effort to seek congressional legislation. So Senators Booker, Blumenthal, and Moran introduced their idea. I'm not sure that's the solution, but it's certainly encouraging that senators with seniority in a bipartisan way who are members of the key Senate committee, Energy and Commerce, are introducing legislation. We have to have something move through the committee process, though.
Commissioner Greg Sankey with us. Our guests are on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline, I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur, with new travel trailers as low as $139 a month. That's less than $5 a day. You get 2023 fifth wheels, $439 a month, JohnstonRVCenter.com. I've seen the headline numerous times. Commissioner Sankey says SEC will stop at 16 teams. Is that a fair headline? Because I didn't click on it to read the story. I know.
I never said that.
Well, I've seen that headline this week.
Yeah, well, I saw a headline like I got asked about bowls being populated 1 through 82.
Right.
I said, sure, I'll do that because I know my teams will be in the top.
Yeah, of course you'll
be. Here's the insight.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that means.
Right.
Like, I know 82 is one less than 83.
Right.
We'll stop there. No, I said we're focused on adding 15 and 16, the expansion between next year. I'm not a recruiter, not out there looking for schools. I'm not the one going to a microphone. I did say this to message that we want to grow to this number or we want to go in this direction. I think it would be irresponsible for me to say those things. And I've shared this with colleagues. So I guess that's interpreted as we're stopping at 16. What I then say is I have to pay attention to what's going on around me. And my job is to make this the most attractive possible destination. But we're not in this marketplace like others have been communicating. The Mountain West letters weren't about the Southeastern Conference making phone calls anyplace.
And these are admittedly disconnected.
You know what I mean?
Well, I do. Yes, I do. Yes. These are admittedly random and disconnected questions, but we were asked about this earlier.
Welcome to my life.
I know. And welcome to our show. With the announcement that the conference media days will be in Dallas next year, obviously with Texas and Oklahoma coming into the league makes perfect sense. Could you foresee a situation where the football game moves around?
Not right now.
No.
We attempted to move to Dallas in 2018 with media days,
right?
Recognizing the presence of Arkansas and Texas A&M, and just candidly, I shared it with a colleague out of respect, and then dates got moved on me.
Wow, how about that?
So you learn, you just announce things.
That's right. don't ask for permission, right?
Yeah.
But the football, I mean, you would be dedicated if it did move. Would you be dedicated to dome only? Like, I mean, if ever the college,
this is like. So I answered the question.
You
did not accept the answer.
No, I accept the answer. Fine. You didn't put a definitive end on it. I mean, you guys would not want to play that game outdoors, right?
I'm certain. The art of possibilities at play. You are so far beyond my need to contribute mental capacity to that thought that I've not even considered it.
You choose to keep the dome closed in Atlanta.
I do. That was where I was headed next.
Okay.
I think most people are fans of this city. This construction is a pain in the ass. You guys, I thought, had all the juice in the world, the SEC. Did you not make a call and say, hey, look, we need to shut this down?
It could have been worse, believe me.
Yeah.
So you guys did do something about it.
Yeah. The Tennessee Department of Transportation, they slowed it down. The Hyatt, the Convention and Visitor Corporation, Visit Music City were phenomenal. But once they start, they can't stop. Once you're here, you don't even know it. If they had not been as gracious as they were, you would have known it, I think.
Wow.
So
the Uber drivers hadn't figured it out yet.
Well, yeah, we made a commitment and then learned subsequent, and I was fairly aggressive at, well, we're just going to move and we'll pay whatever penalties. But I thought, we needed to be here. Once you get past it, you can walk down to Broadway to restaurants. But yeah, it's not ideal, but nobody knows it other than you got to divulge it over the air. Everybody else was happy. Now they're all angry.
Yeah. No, I would tell you.
We're warning the bachelorette parties. Don't go over it.
I would tell you it has been my favorite location so far, and I think I'm one of the senior reporters now who've covered all these SEC.
What year is this
days.
for you?
I don't remember that long ago, but I think this is my favorite location.
But you know, because
It's been really enjoyable. And
Yep.
it's a reminder of why our basketball works here so well.
Yeah.
That you can go in and go out and move. There's hotels. You can. I've.
It's a
visited-
great SEC town.
I've been here. I don't know how many times I've visited things never visit because I realize how all-consuming the basketball tournament is.
so I've only been to one tattoo parlor in my life, but on Tuesday it wasn't Redmont vodka, it was bourbon, and
I can't believe you're going to tell him this.
Here it was bourbon.
yeah, and so
I showed up the wrong
I
day.
know.
You did, yeah.
yeah,
And that one,
we had some Dickel 15. It was really good. Buddy of ours brought it by, and Brandon Marcello was sitting there. Well, first it was Shannon Terry from On 3. We poured shots. Then Marcella sat down, and he didn't get up for like 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2.5.
Yeah.
The bottle was empty.
Empty.
At the end of the, but the best thing is
That
Dunaway
was
goes
his
to get a
favorite.
tattoo.
That was his weight loss program.
Yeah, that's it. It'll do it.
I want to ask. I didn't know.
That guy can
I
drink
didn't know
for-
that was the way it
for
worked.
his size.
Yeah.
Dunaway, on the other hand, can't really drink. Got piss hammered on just a couple of drinks and went to get a tattoo. But the lines,
Seriously?
oh
Yeah.
yeah, the lines were so long with bachelorette parties he couldn't get in. Not one, but two places.
I blame it on the Auburn grad behind you, SEC school. Taylor's in charge of our creative content. And she's like, it'd be good for the show.
She's very focused on her creative content.
Yes,
role.
yeah, very creative
An
over there.
iPad and a phone. And
That's right. Yep.
She's working. So yeah, I went to
I've
get a
never
tattoo.
been to a tattoo parlor.
Yeah,
I had not either, to be honest with you. And I stood outside this one and saw him get turned away.
twice. Two different
Twice.
ones.
Yeah, by the way, we don't divulge everything, but there was one coach that we did see at this hotel that said they offered Taylor a job.
You almost had her as an SEC employee.
Yep.
But she
Did
chose. Yep.
Yep.
Well, I mean, she
Did
was
you
offered.
interview with me?
No,
No, not with the
no.
conference office.
Overall conference. Yeah.
yeah.
We had
What
we
does
had
that mean?
we had to outbid one.
Oh, an institution?
An institution
I'm sorry.
approached
They saw her great work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we were able to outbid that institution and keep her.
But it did cost us a few dollars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can cost them more if you want. We're going to have a conversation.
Yeah.
She said, sure.
She's a Birmingham girl. You don't have to pay relocation. She's already there. Yeah.
That's it, yeah.
God, I mean, Sankey, man, I'm such a big fan, and now you're coming in and trying to hire her away. You're
Mhm.
shutting us
He
down.
looks at this things. I guess it's working.
You got Barry. eh?
When's the
We
last
must have done
time you were able to sit on your couch for a full football Saturday and watch games?
Oh, you never do that, do you?
Yeah, no, I've enjoyed like going. So it'll happen week 2 with the Texas game in Alabama. I'll stay home that day. There's just not games that make sense to go someplace else for 2. So I'll get to stay home. I've made it to like 1 or 2 in the afternoon, and I'm like, this is really enjoyable.
Yeah.
I realize why we're so popular. Like
Yeah, I
sitting
know.
here and watching SEC Nation, flipping to game day during the commercials, coming back to Nation because that's my priority, and then the noon games start.
It's
noon Eastern.
phenomenal. It's
You're
phenomenal.
like, wow, this is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And during COVID, I was in my office and like my stomach hurts all Saturday. You guys don't even know. Saturdays are less fun than you would
So
imagine.
do
for me.
you fly from Birmingham to Tuscaloosa?
No.
Okay.
It does
I
seem
drive.
excessive.
I try to drive regularly, so I drive. I think week 3 LSU's in Starkville, so I'm going to go to another game. So I'll likely ride with someone. The plane will pick me up, and then we'll go someplace else. But I'll drive to Auburn. My predecessor used to fly, and I lived in Brook Highland at the time, where Jim tried to run me over when I was running on the road. And it was like an hour and 40 minutes.
I've never
When I-
understood people that run on the road when there's sidewalks.
When I drove, well, there are no sidewalks in Brook
well,
Highland.
find sidewalks.
It's nice as the neighborhood as it was. There's no sidewalks. Now I live in Homewood. I have sidewalks. But sidewalks vary more than pavement. Like you catch your toe on.
Oh,
it.
especially in Homewood, old sidewalks.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I would drive like 30 minutes in, wait 15 minutes. We'd fly down, and I realized I'm like wasting time flying.
Oh,
Right.
going to Auburn? Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll drive. It's Mississippi State's a drive. I drove to Auburn, or excuse me, to Georgia a couple times last year. I like driving.
Did you really leave the 2021 Iron Bowl when I told you the game was over and you missed the overtime Iron Bowl? Were you leaving anyway? Because you remember you walked back on the field, you had gotten called away, and Alabama missed that 4th down conversion. I said, game's over. You can go ahead. And I think he disappeared. And then Bryce
I
Young
did leave. Yeah.
Yeah, Bryce Young. Were you leaving anyway, or did I
Yeah,
make
yeah.
you miss the end of
Yeah,
the Iron
no,
Bowl?
no.
Okay, because
No,
I've always
I tried
felt
to get
guilty.
ahead.
Yeah, I've always felt guilty about that because it's the only overtime Iron Bowl in history. Very exciting finish.
We've got a couple more questions.
I also left the 7 overtime Texas A&M LSU game from 5 minutes ago.
Did you think it was over?
I did. Then I get to the airport, but my pilots were timing out. I get to the airport. Remember, Kellen Mond goes down, throws an interception.
Oh yeah, and his knee was down.
I get on the airplane.
Yeah.
I look at my phone. I'm like, how does A&M have the football again?
Right.
And then I fly to Birmingham. I land. The game's still going on.
And
And it's
that
not a
wasn't
short
over.
flight.
That one game cost us. Now we've got a crap overtime system.
Yeah, they did overreact to that game with the overtime system. I think.
We've got your coffee. Would you like some coffee instead?
Yeah, period.
I'm okay
You're
right
good
now.
right now. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Showering you with gifts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have no problem
You,
bringing
you
it
have
up
to
that.
game and end. You have to end the game somehow, some way.
Well, football just
We were fortunate; it was 60 degrees, 65 degrees that night. If that's in the swamp and that plays out, that you'll have a very different overtime system then.
well, football just does not lend itself to overtime. There really is no good system. There isn't. I've never seen
I
one.
feel the same about green, white, checkered in NASCAR.
No, I would agree completely. I mean, that's just created a whole new set of issues.
Trying to take us off that topic.
Yeah. I mean, there's no answer.
I got another one for you. Huey Lewis a couple of weeks ago was turned 73. I
know.
threw this question out to them.
It's hard to take.
Yeah.
Last time I saw him play was over here at the
At Bridgestone?
Schimmelhorn, I
Oh.
think it's called, whatever the symphony.
Dunaway really, I'm not a huge Huey Lewis fan like you. Dunaway discounts Huey Lewis though.
I cannot believe we're
'Cause-
having this conversation.
No, here was the question I asked. Better overall career once they're ultimately done, Huey Lewis or Kurt Warner, former Rams/Cardinals quarterback with the NFL Network?
Huey Lewis.
I thought it was an easy answer. He was an 80s icon.
But see, music is fantastic because people can have varying taste, and
But they can't have daring taste about quarterbacks.
they can. But I love football. I was never a fan. And I admire you for being a fan. I just never.
First time I saw Huey Lewis in the
Liked
news, my wife and I were dating.
Do you know how many times you've seen him?
I could count. It's in the double digits. Was it Wheat Sport Speedway, dirt track speedway with a concert setup? And the last time was at High Tone Nashville Symphony Center.
Yeah.
That's called range.
Does he
right
put on a
there.
good show?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. I've always enjoyed them.
Do you guys
Rockstar.
have? Could you guys? Are you guys news directors
I
or
know
anything
of,
like that? No.
Not that I know of.
Okay.
Hey,
It's just
since
like going to see their music.
Well, I was going to ask real quick though, Rockstar, didn't we determine he's a top 10 80s act? What was that discussion about?
Well, well, I don't know where Rockstar is.
He'll
but
be-
they
he'll be in
did,
your- he'll be in your
like
headset.
Michael Jackson had the Pepsi deal. Huey
Uh-huh.
Lewis in the News had the Coke offer back in the day.
Yeah.
If
Oh,
you
did
read
they?
the trade.
Yeah.
I mean,
What was it?
That's a big deal.
It is.
Yeah.
Kirk Warner never had a Coke deal.
That's true. Rockstar, tell the commissioner
Coca-Cola.
what did we determine, Rockstar, about Huey Lewis?
We were talking about the top Billboard hits, and I think he had more, and I'm trying to think of who made the most money touring in the 80s or something like that. We had a lot of stuff just to prove Dunaway wrong because Dunaway was
Yeah.
on a hill for
But
Kurt
you go
Warner
back
for
to
some
the
reason.
B-sides too. There's a song like "Walking on a Thin Line." I think that's from the Sports album about the Vietnam veteran, kind of PTSD before we knew the name.
Take
That's
that,
a pretty
Dunaway.
powerful song. You go back to the early days,
I had no idea that was what it was about.
self-titled. Then there's some funny songs.
Yeah.
So I asked this one the other day.
Good music.
Closer to home. Sylvester Stallone, you're from New York. Sylvester Stallone's birthday, I said, better overall career, Stallone or Saban? And I got killed for asking that question.
Just for asking the question, so nobody had to answer. it.
Oh,
Well,
well,
no, we answered. We both said Saban.
I just said Stallone is like a global iconic brand.
But as we
when you look
pointed
at
out,
the Rocky
yeah.
franchise, the Rambo franchise,
but movies lend themselves to that.
Yeah, but those are repeats. You know, Knicks had to do it with a different team and
Oh,
different
yeah.
eras and different
Mhm.
he
campuses.
broke the Creed franchise. He brought it back out of the grave. I'm not saying the song's
Here
great.
it is.
Nick
you
Saban
know,
brought Bama football.
I
to the grave.
enjoy the Rocky movies, Rambo movies, but I haven't seen anything past Rocky 3. I think I saw Rocky 4 and I'm like, you know what? I don't need to see any more of that because 1 was so good, 2 wasn't great, 3 was really good.
I'll tell you, Creed is good. At least the first one was.
Okay.
4 was just playing off like, the Cold War and all that. You didn't get caught up in that, like the
I think
American.
Rambo was too.
Well, it was,
Without
yeah.
boxing gloves.
Yeah, Stallone made some money off the Cold War, didn't he? He really did.
Everybody needs an enemy. That's when I expand. There you go.
Did you ever?
But I stopped just so we're
Did you ever see Copland with Stallone? It's a great cast. De Niro's in it. Harvey Keitel.
a long time ago.
Yeah, but it's on the other side. So it's in Jersey on the other side of the George Washington Bridge, and it was a town where all the cops lived. And I wonder if there's really something like that.
But I don't know. Thank you for asking.
I will tell you.
I was going to say, like, you think about De Niro and Pacino's careers. They did something different. It wasn't like
Oh, I know. I just saw De Niro and Dirty Grandpa. Trust me, I know. Awful movie.
I'm not saying they were perfect because Stallone's got some dogs in there too.
Oh, he
but
does.
When you're just doing 1, 2, and 3 over and over, I get it. You're just cashing in, right?
Well, I mean, that's college football up until NIL and transfer portal. It was top heavy. It was just Saban every other year winning the national championship.
Guy finishes 5th and 2nd, and it's all changed.
Oh, his fastball's gone.
You know when you're gonna
I'm distancing myself from that comment.
you know when you're gonna hire Taylor away from us, when you make it downstairs and she's already got you intermixed with some War Games video and the quote, "Everybody needs an enemy," and the missiles are dropping in Big Ten country, and you're gonna be like, "Damn, she's good. I need to hire her."
Just as people excerpt this to circulate on the D1 ticker, this is all lighthearted. It's like this week I've seen things where it shows. Do you know what the D1 ticker
I
is?
actually
Email
I'm
kind of
signed up.
summary.
I get that email.
I look at that with like one eye open
Yeah.
and my hand over that eye because I'm like, what did they quote clip now?
Well, this. I am the king, as you from a question earlier, of reading headlines and not actually reading the story. So that email is great for me because I just read the headlines.
I read something that I said on the network that people were angry with me about the expansion, and they started naming names of people who were angry at me. Like, no, you completely missed, and it was in an article. I completely missed what I was observing. It was big picture anger.
You've got another spot to be. We always appreciate the time.
Do
It's
I?
fun talking.
I did want to ask you if SEC's ever going to utilize AI.
We actually have an initiative through our academic smarty pants. Our academic initiative with campuses first write a common curriculum for faculty members to figure out how to sort through the use of AI. We've had one video conference, kind of a seminar, and some other plans about how we intersect with our campuses, and then we're going to have to think about what it means for our function as well.
Fantastic answer.
Didn't see that
Didn't
coming,
expect
did
that.
you?
Yeah,
Greg
did not
Sankey,
expect that.
Go ahead. It will not be rude. To
What happened to all the rapid fire stuff? No movies, no
well,
pizza. Or
Hey,
hot
when you go to
dogs?
Chick-fil-A, do you do spicy chicken or regular?
Regular.
Let's see. There's a rapid fire.
Better side from Chick-fil-A, the old coleslaw or mac and cheese?
The old coleslaw. I haven't had the mac and cheese.
Polynesian or Chick-fil-A sauce?
No sauce.
It would be the buffalo sauce they have.
That is good.
It's actually quite tasty. I thought you were going to ask me about like a Disney hotel, Polynesian resort.
All right.
Thank you for the time.
Thank you. We keep you all day. but
we
thank
keep
you.
you all day.
That was it was always like 2 segments on this deal.
Well,
we
we
already burned 2
I
segments.
mean, if you
Here's
can,
my phone
I'll
call.
make you a drink and I'll
What time
write up
is
a
it?
segment. It's only 3
Oh
o'clock.
no, I got to go to Feinbaum.
Yeah.
He's got a microphone. He can say bad things.
Okay.
He will.
Do you need to borrow our headset? Are you good? Okay.
Okay,
Well,
okay.
we're good. Hey, 5 o'clock. We're here live. If you want to come back.
Do I have to leave the Perrier?
No, take it with
take-
you.
we
It's our
got-
party gift.
I don't know what budget we are. You're swiping.
No, we've got we've got extra. You'd be surprised at what they've charged us for this room.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
That's
you.
Commissioner Greg Sankey of the SEC. And look who's back to do the list.
know.
LT is quickly putting a list together, and the commissioner of the Southeastern Conference is back.
How was Feinbaum?
It's good. We talked about some of the bigger policy issues, and I spent a lot of time on mental health. They had a nice feature on what Ole Miss has done to prepare their coaches for dealing with mental health issues. It is the most identified issue on an agenda from student athletes for conversation.
It's so important.
Yeah.
I had a meltdown at the national championship in Indianapolis, and it was so bad I had to call these guys to come like literally settle me down to get my bearing straight. And when I got home, I went and got help, and I'm on meds
Well,
now.
part of it is the ability to have the conversation. I actually spoke probably in 2018 intentionally at media days about the issues around mental health, and I was really, I don't know what I expected, but surprised by the amount of feedback and input that was like, thank you for saying something and make it okay to ask for help or call for help. We talk about the issues at almost every meeting of our athletics directors, and certainly at every meeting of our student athletes, and our chief medical advisor, Dr. Katie O'Neill, who's an infectious disease specialist, but a wonderful overall doctor, has spent an enormous amount of time in her first year trying to connect what we're doing in different ways, particularly around mental health. I've talked to agents about mental health support for our coaches, and I've spent time on campus because of the high stress and high pressure that they're under. And we've kind of joked about the issue, but sports gambling does create a new component of pressure for participants that I don't think we've yet coped with. And I mentioned that in Monday's remarks as well.
Yeah, I mean, I have two college age kids. Both of them have college age kids, but it's not just them. I'm glad you brought up the coaches, because as adults too, that mental health thing is a real deal. And I can't imagine, and we've seen it with different coaches, even in our league, that have struggled with it.
Yeah. And I know probably more than a little bit about the support structures on our campus. One of the challenges we've discussed is having relatable hires, individuals in those mental health positions with a similar background and experiences. That's enormously hard. I think I saw a stat like 87% of the mental health counselors in the country are white. So how do you develop diversity in that?
You can't get in front of anybody right now. There's such a lack of support out there.
It's like a 3-month lag.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
So ours is ours. So for all the criticism, they
that's
don't do
huge.
this, they don't do this. Our student athletes have concierge services. And the feature that was just shown on the network from Ole Miss is, immediate services. And Lane told a story about a tweet that caused concern, and within moments, 15 people are reaching out to that individual. So one of the check the box in a really good way +1s for college athletics is being ahead of the mental health needs, but working to stay ahead of the mental health needs to provide support is really a significant challenge.
I think major corporations should do it.
Yeah.
Didn't mean to get all serious, but it's good stuff. Very, very important.
Very.
From that to, I mean, laughter is a great mental release. LT's got a list for you. I don't know if you'll make us laugh or not. I don't want to.
The foundation of the show is awkward transitions. So
usually,
did you consider that before next round?
Usually separated by a sponsor, but I'm going to throw a sponsor in here because I didn't give Lance a warning.
Perrier.
Perrier sponsored earlier.
You need a new bottle?
I'm good.
Okay.
I've been nursing it.
All
Okay,
right.
here we go.
Okay. The Godfather or Goodfellas?
Goodfellas.
You grew up in New York. I mean, are those I don't think up in Buffalo you had a whole lot of gangster
It
guys.
was not Buffalo, but that's I was outside Syracuse. I was
Outside of Syracuse,
I lived in the
excuse me.
middle of a dairy farm.
Yeah, so not a whole lot
there's
of
a whole lot of mafia action.
yeah.
I did
Did you watch Sopranos?
not really, not with any intent. No.
Okay.
I watched Curb Your Enthusiasm, which I don't really recommend for various reasons.
Oh, it's so good.
Spite
Hey,
Store.
the crazy thing
Delta
is,
has season 10. The whole Spite Store thing is just comical to me.
it is, and how they tie everything together, and most of it's improv with just a basis for a script. They're big Seinfeld guys. I didn't like Seinfeld, but I told them if they like Seinfeld, they'd love this, right?
Yeah, because they have these cameos. There is an episode where Larry's bothered by the star of the theatrical performance that he's produced is wearing the same pants 2 days in a row. I went in the office, I'm like, how many of you wear the same pair of pants 2 days in a row? I'll do it with Blue Delta because I bought into the whole natural fiber thing, but I'm like, I do not wear the same pair of pants.
It's so
ever.
funny though. Like, I don't like putting garbage in my bathroom garbage can. I think it looks tacky. And Larry, same thing. I really do. Like, if I go to the bathroom, I don't like Q-tips and floss and that kind of stuff.
I never thought about that. But today when I went to the bathroom, I had thrown something in there last night. And I was like,
There's
It
an
doesn't look right.
episode on shirking one of his staff, like, oh no, they're great, they'll help you really good. And it was passing down like Matt Damon had done it to Larry David. Larry David.
And I guarantee this has happened to you before. The fire alarm that beeps and you can't find it in the
Yeah,
house.
it's awful.
And Larry pulls it out, and then the house burns down.
I haven't had the house burned down, but I have had. You pull it out, then you lay there like, well, if something happens, it doesn't have a battery. Then you get back up, and you wasted 2 hours of sleep.
Okay, more enjoyable, great movie or good book?
Why don't you go great book? Because you know he likes to read.
I know he's going to go great.
Yeah,
book.
good book. Really good book. I haven't been to a movie theater since like 2018. I need to go because I enjoy movies, but I like the mental aspect.
Sound of Freedom. You need to go see it. It's good.
Is it?
Yeah, real good.
What else is out now?
Barbie.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
Oppenheimer.
Yeah, has anybody seen that?
Lunsford sees them all. He sees them before they come out.
Oppenheimer.
Did you like
seen it?
Oppenheimer? Oh
The
yeah.
Mission
Yeah, that's it.
Impossible one is that?
Yeah,
Mission
it was out
Impossible,
last
yeah.
week.
You know that you want to suspend reality for a while. For a
Yeah,
couple
that's
hours?
Mission Impossible. Yeah.
Last fast food drive-through you went through.
Whataburger.
Oh, interesting.
280.
Texas.
No,
I mean, hell, they're joining the league.
I mean, I don't think.
I want to be genuine in this response.
Have you ever
Has
gone?
it been a long time?
Yeah.
Have you ever gone through
I remember.
Have you ever gone through
I
the?
take it back. Whataburger was an airport. It was Chick-fil-A.
Have you ever gone through the drive-through of Cookout?
Oh yeah,
It is.
big fan.
It is the most anxiety-inducing moment of my life, though. That
Wait,
menu.
you eat Cookout?
Especially when there's 2 lanes.
Like,
oh
that menu is so confusing.
Oh, but
I
then
cannot
there's
figure
one
it out.
like south of Greenville, South Carolina, where you have to pull around
Yeah.
to pay, and you're like, what are you gonna find around that corner?
I mean, a case of yeah.
But the food is outstanding.
I love Cookout, but
Big fan of Cookout.
Forrester pointed
Are we
out.
getting this segment sponsored
No.
by Perrier and Cookout?
You can get a pack.
You know how we
Food
work
for
now.
It's like Talladega Nights, Perrier and Cookout. All
I know that's our show.
Okay. Have you ever rode in the back of a pickup truck?
Absolutely.
Last time.
Oh, I was my teenage years.
Yeah.
We had pickups my entire youth, and then I owned a Ford Ranger pickup, which really wasn't a
The
pickup.
reason I asked this is we had like 6 going to dinner last night, and we were riding in a truck, and he was like, "It's legal to ride in the back of the truck if you guys want to jump in the back." You remember that?
I do
I'll
remember
give
that.
you. I'll
We'll
give you a
pass.
shocking example of the contrast of growing up in New York State. My parents' red Ford 150, 1978 version with one of those camper tops on the back. You know those.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
My brother and I, the whole way down from Skaneateles, New York, to New York City, driving around in New York City. We're in the back of the pickup.
Yeah.
Truck. It's like the Beverly Hills.
I always knew.
I was in high school.
I always knew you were one of us.
Middle of New York City. I have ridden in the back of a pickup truck.
Southerner at heart.
Yep.
So you're a big traveler.
Where I'm from in New York, it's a lot closer to Mississippi than anybody in New York cares to admit.
You're a big traveler. Best city, it can be in the States or out of the country you've ever visited.
Ask me that again because I was wondering if I should have said what I just said. But
Yeah,
go
best
ahead. Too late.
I thought it was a compliment.
It was. I took it
honestly.
as a
Yeah.
compliment.
best city you've ever visited.
Wow. Or in Nashville, so you could play that way. Love Dublin. I love going to
Yeah.
Dublin, Ireland.
Did you go to
Killarney.
Edinburgh in Scotland?
I know we were going to, and then we bought a lake place. We are going to go the next year. I love the London trip too, though. Dublin would be just a fascinating place. Been to Dubai. That's something.
Oh,
to see.
wow.
It's like one thing, and then the next block there's desert.
That's why son dropped it on me. He's like, "Hey, I want to go to Dubai, Dad." And I'm like, yeah.
It's interesting.
bet
to
you
see.
do.
I wasn't there to go see everything, but seeing it, you're like, "Wow, I went to Oman as part of that trip." So that was pretty neat.
D1 Sports Wire. I just got an alert. Commissioner loves Dublin. Who will Vandy play in Ireland to open the season?
I've met with the Lord Mayor of Dublin about playing a game there.
An SEC game.
Yeah. Yeah, it was 2016, 17.
Yeah, it
I've
says-
been over there. But it is I've explained this to those interested, like others are doing it with 40,000 seat stadiums that are half full. We're not moving the economics of 103,000
Yeah,
seat
exactly.
stadium. You know, it just isn't
Yeah.
as easy as it seems.
Okay.
We've had some interest in the league, but it'd be pretty cool.
You could do it at
Especially
Wembley,
week
couldn't you?
0.
You talked about London.
Yeah, yeah. If you have interest, we've got South Carolina playing in Paris this year in women's basketball, and our staff is providing support there. I don't want to just do those.
I assume you'll
things.
be at that game.
It is football season. It is football season.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it is odd that you love Dublin. You took that meeting and we're not playing a football game there. I mean, I'm not sure.
Apparently, I'm not nearly as powerful as people think.
No, I just think that's a smart move by you.
Yeah,
to
that's
go
right.
to a city you love.
You had to go
have
sniff
a-
it out.
Well,
have a-
no, I was there on
have a good meeting.
So after the full story is after my first year as commissioner in April, I looked at my wife and I'm like, I have to get out of the country. Like it just was so much. And the funnier story I've told is we went to Dublin. I rode those red double-decker tourist buses. Like
Yes.
you see those in New York, like I can't believe people get on that thing. I love that trip in Dublin.
Oh, wow.
Rolling around the top in town, the history there,
Yeah.
the stops. We go to Killarney. We take a jaunting cart. Are you familiar with those?
I'm
No.
not.
Horse drawn. They got a little guy riding it. It's got 2 seats, 2 wheels, up the mountain. Hop in a canoe that's got a motor. You go down a chain of lakes. It's really neat. Gap of Dunlow, and you come out at a castle. We get out of the boat. We're walking towards the castle to tour the castle. I don't have any logos on. This is my first year. Nobody knows who I am. And there were 4 LSU fans who recognized me in Dublin,
Wow.
Ireland,
How
or
about
in Killarney. The
Yeah.
next year we go back because that was the U2 concert year, and we're in a pub, and I walked right by a South Carolina soccer player I had my picture taken with like 4 months or 6, 7 months earlier, and sat next to her and one of her teammates from an Icelandic professional soccer team. So it's small. world.
Wow.
Okay. He's everywhere.
I got 2 more for you. Most entertaining game you've ever witnessed in person. It doesn't have to be football.
Well, the Georgia Oklahoma Rose Bowl.
Oh, that was
Wow,
a good game.
That was remarkable because
Yep.
the highs and lows.
Yep.
Yeah.
And a great
Um,
venue to watch a game.
Yeah, Syracuse and Nebraska played football. Nebraska was in the Carrier Dome, now the JMA Wireless Dome. In 1984, and Syracuse upset them. That's when I was part of field rushing, which you shouldn't do.
Next time you hand out a fine.
I was not leading; I was following.
Okay,
Syracuse
yeah.
Georgetown games back in the Patrick Ewing, Ronnie Cycli type era.
At the Dome,
80s,
at the Carrier Dome? Yeah.
33,000.
Oh,
people
yeah.
Do you know
at
Boeheim?
the top. I've met him.
He seems like a jerk.
He's been nice to me.
Yeah, that's-
You know, if 80,000 ball fans were on the field, there was one person that was first, the leader. The other 79,999 were the followers.
yeah. And Dunaway was videoing.
Yeah.
You remember
Tiger
Dunaway's
Woods last Masters? I was at 18
video? 2019?
on the 4th round. Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Yep, I decided to stay. It was, the weather was early.
Yep,
So
yep.
watching him walk, and it was 10 yards from where I was seated at 18, up to greet his son, and just, the possibilities around redemption and change, and some of the physical things he had faced. Well, that was a really cool moment.
Speaking of Tiger, most interesting person you've ever played golf with.
In my foursome,
Yeah.
rats.
Oh,
Oh,
why?
no.
Well, what's the other answer?
Josh Allen
Oh, really?
Oh,
The
yeah.
Buffalo quarterback, huh?
and CC Sabathia. We just did this thing earlier.
Who's bigger? CC, right?
I think
No,
Josh is.
CC's
I thought he was 6'7".
well taller, but he's not the CC Sabathia that was playing at Cleveland and other places.
Can both of those guys match
It's
a golf ball?
fascinating. Oh yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, Allen especially.
That's all I got.
Yeah.
What was your
Oh.
handicap? What's your handicap?
I don't play enough to have one.
He's
Yeah.
traveling
Yeah.
too much.
I know. Dunaway's got his to an all-time low.
Yeah.
He wanted to bring that up.
What is that?
I don't want to say now because you
It's
don't
an
have one.
11.
Okay.
He's
I
got
shot
it
a
at 11.
92 at a links course in California and felt good about it.
Well,
3 weeks.
I would have felt great about it. My
Yeah.
my
Had fun. I was at Augusta National with a PGA, a staff member, who said pivoting the marketing of the game to away from your score and what's your story, because every time there's a hole where you have this story, right? Where,
right.
man, you just
Yeah.
hit it pure. And
That's
then
right.
You just got, I was playing at the country club of Little Rock. 15 is their signature hole. First off the drive to the right, and I'm stymied behind trees. I've got room. I pull out a 5-iron, it's as smooth as can be, and you just catch it. And, it's just jumps off.
Such a good feeling.
And I'm up just on the side of the green, 2-putt, birdie the hole, birdie the hole, and then the rest of the thing was a disaster of a scoring round for me.
It doesn't matter. You got the story.
I get to the tee of the next hole. It's a short par 3 with a 9-iron, and I somehow duck hook the thing so far left I can't find it, and I have no idea how that could have happened physically. So 15.
What tees do you hit from?
Wooden tees usually.
Because Dunaway, you play from the ladies, right?
I don't play from the ladies.
The
I play
long
appropriate
ones.
to my age.
The long ones with the stripes.
Yeah.
So you know how
That's
deep
how
it
deep
is.
the tee is.
Do you have
Yeah.
master socks on?
He does. I
do.
noticed that
That's
earlier.
Exclusive.
Yeah.
If you go to
Can't hide it.
my TV guy from CAA turned me on like 5 years ago. I go in there and you'll see me walking around Augusta with a bag full of socks. I come home and Kathy's like, "Where are you going to put all those socks?" I'm like storing them like a squirrel with acorns because you never know when you're going to get a hole.
How many
That's it.
times have you played it?
One time. Played after the 21 on the Monday, which is pretty
Oh,
neat,
wow,
with
right
the
up-
pins.
Yeah.
So my claim to fame there is on the par 3s. 3 of the par 3s I parred. So 4, 6, which is back right deep from that elevated
Yeah.
tee
It's like a,
off the tee.
Yeah.
I think I was pumping a 4-iron in there. It was just
wow.
to the back, and then 2 putted from the back for a par. I was pretty proud of that.
Yeah, you should be.
4 to the right, pin high, got
Yep.
up and down. 12 was a disaster.
Yeah, did you hit it in the
Just
water?
it's a mind game.
Yeah, it is.
Because I've parred the
Yeah.
2 par 3s.
I
I'm
know.
like, well, I got a streak going, right?
Yeah,
Just-
yeah.
and you're so trying to be so smooth that you
Yeah.
and then 16 played in the middle. Like I had watched the day before, it was when Morikawa, who won? Matsuyama?
Yeah, I think so,
Hideki-
yeah.
Hideki
Hideki
Matsuyama.
So he comes, I sat at 15, green 16. I'm now killing your time, right?
No, we don't care.
Buster
That's okay.
Olney's gone.
Yeah,
And
no, but Buster
Because
knows we're running
at the
late.
beginning of
Yeah.
the day, I knew that was the place that if there's ever a chance, it would be competitive. And was it Schauffele gets through there and I think he birdies, and then Matsuyama goes over the green. I didn't realize how many people hit past that green into 16 pond
Yeah.
because you're trying to get there and there's just no way to stop it.
Oh, yeah. You're talking about when they play 15. Yeah.
And then Schauffele, I think it was Schauffele was second that year. He's on 16 green and there'd been no wind the whole time. And right before he plays, you can see the wind swirls up, and he kept the same club. He's playing at the hole. Everybody else is playing at the middle. And so he ends up in the water. And had he just parred that, it's a whole different
Yeah.
dynamic because now he's got the momentum. Matsuyama would have probably given up at least one stroke
Yep.
right there. It would have been fascinating to see.
So you saw that and you're like, tomorrow when I play, I'm in the middle of the
Just
green.
hit in the middle of the
That's
green.
a
Don't.
smart play.
It's good advice.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you again. It's
Yeah,
always great
yeah.
having you. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see you. We'll see you in
You
the
wanted to come back at 6? And,
It's-
six
we'll
and-
keep going.
we're
6
done
and
about-
10, like
Listen.
local news.
You got the weather?
We will bump anything for you. We don't even have to break now. We can keep going. We own this thing.
I'm here.
We-
So
Do you want to talk to Buster? I mean, he's an SEC guy.